Hello everyone and welcome back. Welcome back to the class of the 72 names. It's so exciting every week to receive messages from you, how the class impacted you and with how you applied the 72 names in your life, and for the questions, the personal questions that you share with me. So I encourage each one of you to contact me and for any question, any response, and also how the 72 name or the teaching of that week really affected you and supported you in your journey. So this week we actually started last week, last Thursday, we started a new month, which is the new moon of Cancer. I'm sure like most of you were connected to the wonderful lecture and consciousness by Michael and Monica last week, and we didn't talk about the first 72 name correspond with the first day or the first 5 days that ended yesterday, July 4th, of Moon of Cancer. So I want to refer to that and really understand what it means and how it's set the tone for the rest of the month of Cancer. And today we are starting a new sections of 5 days, or a new set of 5 days that correspond with a combination of Pehei Lamed. And before I'm starting to talk about that, I'll share with you what are the 72 names combination related to the month of Cancer, which we're going to speak in the series of this next coming 4 sessions. So we have Lamed Vav Vav, correspond to the first 5 days, as I mentioned. Then we have Pehei Lamed, Nun Lamed Chaf, Yud Yud Yud, Mem Lamed Hei, and Chet Hei Vav. The reason I'm mentioning this to you, because as you probably heard and read about the consciousness of this month of Cancer, the month of Tammuz, it's a very emotional month. Actually, if we are not setting up the right tone for this month, we may fall into turmoil, as we said, like a really imbalance in emotions. And we need to tap into this and understand how throughout the whole month we connect to joy, happiness, tree of life consciousness, seeing everything in a good eye. It's very important, very powerful, as if we fall into the other side, as we say, if we fall to the consciousness of tree of knowledge, good and bad, we may inject the wrong seeds in our journey. The wrong seeds, which mean depression, jealousy, and so forth. And we can see through the 72 names, it really gives us the ability to be aware and to climb above, like to go above the rule of this world of Malchut. So Pehei Lamed, for example, it's really like how we getting out of addiction, like how we identify addiction and how we're working on it, and we'll speak about it today. We have Nun Lamed Chet and Nun Lamed Chaf, which is correspond to, as it's mentioned in the books and the translation, right? It's really about eradicate plagues and so forth. We'll talk about it as well in our next session. The next one is like Yud Yud Yud, known to be as removal of any kind of like or danger or anything that lack of protection that's surrounding us. And then Mem Lamed Hei, known to be like the power of words and how we may fall by using the wrong consciousness. And Chet Hei Vav is really about jealousy. So look how all those names give us like kind of a potential picture of how things can occur in our life this week if we tap into the tree of knowledge, good and bad. But we have a way, and we have the greatest tip in the first 72 names that correspond with this month of Tammuz, with this month of Cancer. This is why it's important for me to share with you, even we just ended the first 5 days of the month. So the first understanding of the combination is Lamed Vav Vav. And what is Lamed Vav Vav? Lamed Vav Vav is dialing God. And let's talk about this. You know, Rav Ashlag says, and I'm going to quote, "My eyes turned to heaven with yearning and desire that had no end. I did not let myself rest for even one moment in the day. My heart opened up to the supernal wisdom and began flowing like a flowing river." It's a beautiful quote from Rav Ashlag explaining the yearning to connect with the Creator every single day. And you know what? Every single one of us is meant to achieve that level at which our connection to the light of the Creator is flowing like a river. But this can only be achieved if we never stop asking for an ever-growing desire, an ever-growing vessel. There are many types of ways to connect with the Creator. But just understanding this as the tip to set the tone for the rest of this month is that connecting to the tree of life consciousness, connecting to the Creator in a level that we wanted, as Rav Ashlag says here, to like it's flow like a river. Our connection, this is vital to maintain balance with our emotion and to maintain a level of joy, happiness, satisfaction, contentment throughout this month. Because why it's important, especially in this month, we're known to be the month of Cancer. It's what is Cancer? We know what is Cancer according to the Kabbalistic information or wisdom. Cancer in Hebrew is Sartan, which correspond to two words in Aramaic, Sar and Tan. Sar, it's to remove. Tan, grudges or hatred. So when I understand that maintaining our consciousness of the tree of life is removal of the self-hatred for myself, therefore we're maintaining joy and happiness. It's a very deep healing process. You know, it reminds me that many years ago in Israel, when I was teaching at the Kabbalah Center in Israel, I was invited by a famous singer to come and see her perform. So I went there to this evening, and I didn't know that I actually entered a gala evening for the oncological department of Ichilov Hospital, where they gathered a bunch of doctors and a lot of people to raise donations for the oncology department, especially for the project that they promoted at that time about preventing, how a person can prevent cancer by scanning and do pre-exams to identify, God forbid, if they may have or not a potential to get sick. So I was listening to the doctors and so forth, and the first thing that came into my mind and my thought was the voice of the Rav. Consciousness is everything. And you want to know what? I had chills in that moment. That after many years in the center of studying and teaching, that moment that I heard the Ravs in my thought, consciousness is everything, made so much sense that all my body was in chills. Yeah, of course, we need to do the 1%. Go to exam, make the checks, of course. But what most people do not know, that consciousness manifests reality. So if we maintain the consciousness of the tree of life, while we're doing our spiritual work, identifying the belief system that preventing us from moving forward in our life, and really making sure that we're removing the veils to to maintain happiness or a certain level of satisfaction and contentment with understanding that there's a bigger picture why things are happening in our life, and not to fall into the bad eye, but to see everything in a good eye, it's definitely affecting us in the physical level. So consciousness is everything, and consciousness is everything is the message of Lamed Vav Vav for the whole month, is the connection to the Creator. So not by coincidence, it's dialing God. You know, there are many faiths that exist, but you know, there's always a question: what is faith, and what it is the source, right? And what kind of hope? Rav Berg never liked the word hope, actually. Rav Berg always encouraged us to be certain of the light of the Creator. And it was not adequate enough to hope or believe of the love of the Creator. But in our hearts, we should know. And the Rav always spoke about knowing without doubt, which is another way of saying certainty. So the Creator's love for each one of us is so absolute that we need to have that certainty that it exists. And you know, there are many types of prayers or connection that we can connect with the Creator. And the Kabbalist teaching that, for example, in Mount Sinai, that it was so humble. People were so humble and lacking of ego and with their connection with the Creator. Therefore, they merited to be in that particular location of Mount Sinai of the elevation of the Torah and really to be in a place where they received the level of immortality. They were eye to eye with the Creator. They had a full certainty with the Creator. And this is the secret of certainty, is knowing the Creator's power and allowing it to flow like a river in our life. And basically with Lamed Vav Vav, we want to make sure that we want to let the Creator, or like the Creator's hands, to allow the Creator's hands into our life by taking your hands off the wheel and allowing the light to enter and give you all that you need. And when we talk about the different types of prayers, you know, there are prayers that are specific words that appear in a very specific order, right? In a prayer book, for example. But when it's combined with the right intention, we can all unlock those gates to the upper worlds and allow the prayers to be taken by the angels to the Creator. But there's also a prayer that it's called, or the way Karen Berg used to call it, the prayer of the heart. When we pray from our heart, we say, or we can say, God, I probably maybe not deserve it, but I have no other solution. I need your help. I need your guidance. Please help my child. Please help my family, and so forth. You know, in the Bible, there's the story of Miriam, the sister of Moses, that we hear in the recent portions. And Miriam had leprosy. And Moses said with all his heart, El na refanala, which is meaning heal her now. And those simple words were the sum of the total prayer, which is to bring healing to the world and end all type of illnesses. So maybe we are not going to have the right words, but we may really create a wonderful impact with the right intention, with the correct intentions. And we have to understand that the Creator hears us, no matter what type of words we use. So with every connection that you have with the Creator, it's highly recommend to use the Lamed Vav Vav, as well as understanding that this is the prerequisite to draw healing into our life, to draw happiness to our life, and to remove these cancer cells from our body, from our soul, from who we are, by removing the self-hatred. Okay? And now we're moving to the next 72 names that correspond with this week. Pei, Hei, Lamed. So we know it's known to be Pei, Hei, Lamed, the victory over addictions. I just want to mention that I have a merit to be part of a project that the Kabbalah Center is creating right now of a program for people in recovery from all sorts of addictions, where we're going to provide, whether it's in a course, whether in person, whether in retreat, tools, how to maintain recovery, and giving the answers to some of us, why is it happening to us? And just a little bit about it when it connects to the Pei, Hei, Lamed. You know, the way we can see that when there is a form of addiction, it's basically represent, and I'll say it straightforward from the Rav's word, and it's not a direct quote, but it's the lack of the connection with the light of the Creator. And what does it mean? When we don't see the bigger picture, when we don't look, like I mentioned earlier, in a good eye, on understanding that there's a reason why things are happening in our way, this disconnection from the light put us on a path of what we have used in the past as the word slavery, which I know a lot of people don't like this word, but it means like that we are personally allowing our soul to be slave to external situation or people to controlling the way we may think or behave. When we give this power to someone else, or to substance, or to a person, or situation, basically what happens is like the diamond within, the light that is within, is completely concealed. And you know that diamonds surviving immense heat and pressure, and till they become really diamonds, like the coal, it's like they cleaning it till the diamond is like really shining, till the diamond emerges, right? They go through beating on all odds, and it is born from the born form and existence in spite of all the adversity. The diamond's strength and resilience and unique creation is its beauty. This is how we shine. And having survived all of this and surfacing strong or stronger and better than before makes it radiant and resilient and untouchable or unbreakable, right? Those are diamonds. And we know that all of us are diamonds in the making. And when we remember this, that whatever lack, whatever trauma, whatever we have experienced in our life that brought us into a place where we put ourselves into addiction of any sort. Again, it can be any form of substance, but it can also be addiction to attention and love, that I feel I'm lacking it for many reasons. Is like with this week, with Pei Hei Lamed, We have the help of the cosmos, that to begin to see the light shining within every situation, every experience, and every person. No matter the heat or the pressure we may all feel, everything we experience is for the good and for our own benefits. And remember, you are all diamonds. You know, in the portion of Vayeshev, it's the ninth portion in the Genesis, and it speaks about the son of Jacob, Joseph, and Joseph was not liked by his brothers, right? I'm sure that a lot of us know the story. To them, to the brothers, Joseph appeared to be the favorite of the father. They had some sort of a jealousy towards them, and they grew envy of him. And Joseph even dreamed that one day he would become like a ruler. He will rule or rule their brothers. And they really hated that dream when he shared with them. So what they have done, they captured him, and they decided instead of kill him, to sell him to be a slave in Egypt. Well, the story continues that it shows that actually Joseph became the king of Egypt. He became the right hand actually to the king. Why we say the king of Egypt? Because he was controlling all the abundance, the money, the food storage of the empire of Egypt. Therefore, as a result, he became like a very influential VIP person of Egypt. But whatever Joseph went through from the time he was sold into slavery till the time he became the king of Egypt, it took almost 22 years of going through so much hardship, accused in creating like a misconduct situation that was not really related to him, thrown into jail, and so many things that he went through, obviously like taken away from his family and separating him from his father. And as we read all the challenges, one of the things that we keep seeing about Joseph, that no matter what, he saw the light of the Creator in every situation. Each experience of Joseph led Joseph to his life purpose. Joseph maintained the consciousness that whatever he was experiencing was always the best, and the light was always with him. And because of this, Joseph excelled even in prison. He became the head of the empire. The Bible teaches us basically that the Creator was present in every step of Joseph's process, from the betrayal of his brothers, being sold into slavery, and even in his incarnation. So the thing is, like, for us to understand from this story and what we can learn from it, is really have the certainty between the Lamed Vav and Pehe Lamed, to have the certainty that knowing that the light exists in everyone, in every steps of our journey, and it's all part of our big picture, part of our growth, leading us to our purpose in life. In this week, I would highly recommend for each one of you to sit and take time every day and just have like maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes of reflection, of visualization. See yourself, see the diamonds, like it takes the diamonds like to be found, like 100 miles beneath the surface. The wisdom of knowing the perfection of your life, the perfection of your soul, it's very important. So I want you to take time to go beyond any grief or any fears or any darkness, that you may face. And see yourself walking in a path where in a road that the light is always shining there, always showing you what will be the next step. Trust the part of yourself, because inside of you lies tremendous wisdom and the trust of the Creator's plans for each one of us. Each step that you take, it as is the steps that Joseph took to really understand that this path will lead you to meet your greatness, will lead you to meet the light that is shining within your diamond. Your life is sparkles and shines. Remember that. It's all glitter. Because you know that everything that is happening to you or happened to you is for your very best. You are a diamond in the making. We are all in a process. And with the power of Pehe Lamed and Lamed Vav Vav, we'll be able to see this month or this week in particular that only the light exists within you. No darkness, only the light exists within you, with every situation and everything that you see. I wish all of us a wonderful week ahead of us, and looking forward to hear from you. Thank you for joining me.